Happy Wednesday, church family. I'm glad to be with you. Welcome to my office. If you're with me sitting across from me at my desk, this is what you would see, a little corner behind me of images and photos that your kids have drawn for me and that I have of them so I can know how to pray and just be filled with my church family. And so today I wanted to come to you from one of my favorite spots in this church, my office, where I feel the most connected to your families, and I know how to pray and I know how to talk to you. And so I wanted to share a blog post that I wrote to you in 2014, and it's about reconciliation and it's about grace, because I've heard from some of you that this sheltering in place is hard. Being with the same people all day, every day is difficult, and I totally understand it. And so I'm hoping that this metaphor about our relationship with God is encouraging to you, and it refreshes you, and it puts a little bit of a reset in you. So knowing that it's okay for things to be hard, that's natural. But what we do with the hard things, the outcome is where God can be at work. And so I'm hoping that this encourages you and that you can use it in your life today. It says, how many mornings have you moms or dads begun your days something like this? With children who are angry their favorite shirt is not clean, cereal that has been spilt, attitudes that are poor, and the gas gauge reading 5 miles until empty. I think everyone has, and usually Sunday mornings are the worst. And even as the most refined, poised, calm, and loving child, just kidding, I definitely wasn't. I had my mornings that everything everyone did in our house wanted me to never come home. We all have the hard days that in any word, question, or gesture makes us angry. And because of our irritability and inconvenience, we choose to back away. We choose to distance ourselves from irritation and frustration. We choose to ignore questions, and sometimes we even stay in our rooms during dinner, so I've heard. I ran across an excerpt from a book from the Jewish celebration Rosh Hashanah. The rabbi writing described an image that I loved that I wanted to share with you to bring you hope after these bad days we choose to distance ourselves. The tradition Rabbi Elkins writes about describes that when every human is born, they are connected to God by a rope. But every time we sin and we mess up, when our bad attitudes become bad mornings, which then turn into bad days, the rope breaks. But once the rope is broken, it does not have to stay broken. It can be retied and knotted again and again, and we reclaim our connection to God. What happens when that rope is knotted with lots of knots? Does it lengthen or does it shorten? It shortens, which means when we mess up, when we screw up, when we don't do what is right, but try to reclaim our relationship with God through reconciliation, the rope becomes shorter, drawing us closer to God. What if, this book asks, our shortcomings and mistakes were the things that drew us closer to God rather than pushed us away? What if, through our imperfection, we were able to know more of God and not less? What if this is the image we used when knowing how to love people? It's called grace. I'm guilty of writing people off and cutting the rope forever without real intent of ever knotting it back. That's pretty scary for me to share with all of you, for you to know that dirty part of my heart. Grace in relationships is not natural. Grace in parenting is not natural. On bad days, it's more natural for all of us to pull away and welcome distance between us and the other person. But God consistently demonstrates the opposite to us. He comes closer. His love isn't restrained by our sin or our mess or our grumpiness. He desires every day to shorten the rope. He reconciles us to himself over and over. When you think about it, there may be no other area in our lives where we have a better opportunity to act like God does. How we handle the hard days can be definitive of how we show the love of God to others. Will we choose to cut the rope for good and write people off? Or will we choose to knot it back up, reconcile, and beckon the people back into our lives with grace and mercy? And so I'm hoping today that you can be reset, push the button in your mind to show that grace. We all need a reminder, and we all need to be given a kickstart. And so this is your kickstart. It's my kickstart to show more grace, to be more patient, not because it's the right thing to do and it's the moral thing to do, but because God has done for us over and over, and everything that we do is what He's already doing for us. So you can show it. You can show it to people. You can show it to your children as you're talking to people online, because we're doing a whole lot of digital communicating. Even as you're leaving comments, let it be seasoned with grace and love, and not the fake kind that you feel like you have to post, but the kind that comes from the Spirit of Jesus Christ in your heart. And so I'm hoping that blesses and encourages you. I sure am missing you today. I hope to be with you again soon. See ya.